They took everything from him. His job, his reputation, his family. But they didn't know what he had left. A will to rise. Betrayed by the woman he loved, abandoned by his own parents, he was left with nothing but rage and clarity. Now, he's built an empire from the ruins they tried to bury him in. And the people who thought they destroyed him, they've only made him unstoppable. When I got laid off from the maritime firm in Halifax, Clara didn't even pretend to care. She chuckled, poured herself a glass of wine, and said, "Guess I'll give you till Christmas before I find someone who actually provides." That was October. My parents weren't any better. My father muttered something about weakness being contagious, while Mom just avoided eye contact. I left their porch that evening, feeling like an unwanted dog. Fast forward 7 years. I heard from them again, desperate, voices cracking through the phone. But by then, everything had changed. Back then, Clara had started wearing perfume again. The expensive kind she used to save for anniversaries. She began straightening her hair, wearing heels to her job at the Port Authority archives. "It's for professionalism," she said when I asked. I believed her. Foolishly. I was drinking my morning coffee when I got the email. "Please report to HR by 8:15 a.m. for an urgent discussion." No context. My heart sank. But I convinced myself it was about the new project bid I'd submitted. One that could have saved the department. The meeting room was cold, sterile. Evelyn from HR wouldn't meet my eyes. My supervisor, Marcus, sat across from me with a face full of sympathy that felt rehearsed. Then the woods fell like bricks. Due to multiple complaints about inappropriate conduct, I barely heard the rest. Allegations, details, timelines, all lies, all eerily coordinated. Security escorted me out of the building within the hour. My access was shut down. No goodbye party, just a box of my desk things and a security guard trying not to look too smug. I drove home, numb, only to find Clara calmly folding sweaters into a suitcase. "Took them long enough," she said without looking up. I stared at her. "The reports? Did you—" "Oh, love," she laughed. "I wrote half of them." I staggered backward. "You've been dead weight for years," she continued. "Marcus, now he's got ambition. He's taking me with him when the Vancouver office opens. Our joint account? Wiped clean. $46,000. Gone. My parents? Had already been told by Clara about my alleged misconduct. They'd pulled their loan for the house extension. I didn't even argue. I just left. I slept in my van near an abandoned boatyard. Ate dry cereal. Used the harbor gym showers at night. I should have felt broken, but something solidified. Clara thought she buried me, but she left behind something dangerous, a man with nothing left to lose. I stayed with a childhood friend, Theo, who owned a salvage yard. He gave me a cot and a job sorting scrap. No questions, just a nod and a plate of worn food. Months passed. Then a whisper at a dive bar near Dartmouth Bay. Someone mentioned Clara and Marcus were opening a boutique consulting firm, funded, surprise, by my parents. Retirement savings, 200 grand. I started piecing things together. I found screenshots, email drafts Clara had saved on our shared cloud, plans, conversations with Marcus about how to discredit me. She wasn't just cheating. She'd engineered a full-blown character assassination to fund her dream business. But I didn't confront her. I waited. I rebuilt quietly. A business of my own. Coastal security inspections. Word of mouth. Contracts grew. I started hiring. Then I bought a modest house. Then another. When I found out Clara's firm was barely breaking even, I smiled. She'd overpromised, underdelivered. Clients left. Then came the whispers, how Marcus had done this before. Burned a past partner, stolen credit. Sound familiar? The final match? I anonymously sent a package to Marcus's wife. Photos, emails. The fallout was immediate. She went nuclear. Took half the company in the divorce. Clara was left with debt, no team, and no credibility. The boutique folded last spring. My parents, they lost their savings, called me, wrote letters, left voicemails, apologies, pleas. I ignored everyone until I showed up at the foreclosure auction for their vacation home near St. Margaret's Bay. I outbid everyone, signed the deed with a grin. When Dad saw me and tried to speak, I just said, "Real men don't beg, remember?" Now, I lease that house to a family with young kids. Good people. The kind I wish I'd had around growing up. Clara? Last I heard, she was working nights at a seafood diner off the highway. A place where no one knows her name or cares to. People still whisper about my story. They say it's about revenge, but it's not. It's about clarity. They tried to break me, but all they did was strip away the noise. And now I sleep like a stone. But stones don't just lie still. They weather, they sharpen, and sometimes they're thrown. It was early April when the letter arrived. Cream envelope, thick paper, no return address. Just my name, scrawled in a hand I hadn't seen since college. Evan R. Merrick. Only one person ever insisted on using my middle initial. Inside, a single line. "They're coming for you next. A friend." I didn't panic. I'd spent too long building my new life with quiet intent. Cash-heavy deals, paperless systems, trusted contractors. But the letter stuck with me. Not because of what it said, but because of who sent it. Riley Gant. The only woman who'd ever outbluffed me at cards and outlasted me at loyalty. She'd vanished after university. Said she'd had enough of people. Now she was writing again, and that meant something. That night, I took a walk through the old boatyard. The air was heavy with salt and silence, the kind that presses on your chest. I passed my old van, still parked there, like a ghost from another life, and thought about what it meant to be hunted by people who once called you weak. The next day, I found out what she meant. A tax audit. Random, they said, followed by a city inspector who just happened to question my property permits. Then a breach in one of my accounts, just enough to trigger an investigation. All different angles, all precise, all meant to fracture, not break. Clara didn't have the reach, but Marcus, he had always played a longer game than people gave him credit for. And he didn't like losing, especially not to someone he'd already written off. He'd vanished after the firm collapsed. Rumors said he was overseas, Singapore, then Dubai. But I knew his type. He wouldn't stay gone. He'd come back when he thought the ashes were cool enough to walk across. What he didn't know was that I had been preparing for this. I wasn't rebuilding just for comfort. I was building a fortress. I'd kept records, copies, testimonies, even my own detailed account, notarized, time-stamped. I had a vault of truths and a map of the rot. It was time to use it. The first domino fell with a quiet exposé. Local news, anonymous sources. Then came the contractor lawsuits. The quiet calls from former clients who had trusted Marcus and now realized their data had been compromised. I never spoke his name. I didn't have to. By June, Riley reached out again. In person this time. We met at the pier at sunset, just like we used to. "I knew you'd find a way to burn it all down," she said, hands in her pockets, eyes sharp. "I didn't," I said. "I just lit a match. The wind did the rest." She smiled. "And now?" "Now," I told her, "I'm starting something new. A foundation. For people like I was. Discarded, disbelieved, discarded again. Quiet help. Second chances. No names attached. No strings. You're turning vengeance into purpose," she said. I looked out at the horizon. Maybe, or maybe I'm just finally becoming the man I needed back then. The sky turned the color of copper, the ocean breathing slow beneath us. I used to think the world was made of betrayals and balance sheets. But now I know it's made of turning tides. And I've learned how to sail. The tides kept turning. The world didn't hand me redemption on a silver platter. I carved it out of rusted metal and splintered wood. Piece by piece, what they meant to bury me with became the foundation I stood on. See, people think survival is the end goal. It's not. Survival is just the starting line. What matters is what you build after the ruin. Who you choose to become when no one's watching, when no one's cheering, when every voice around you is telling you to quit, or worse, that you don't matter. But here's the truth. Rock bottom is the most honest place you'll ever be. No illusions, no distractions. Just you, your scars, and the question, what now? Some people stay there. Others climb. Me, I didn't just climb. I learned how to carry others with me. So if you're reading this, listening to this, standing where I once stood, alone, angry, gutted by betrayal, remember this: you are not broken, you are becoming. Let them doubt you, let them laugh, let them walk away. Then rebuild quietly. Sharpen your edges, grow your roots. And when you're ready, rise so fully that the version of you they tried to destroy becomes the ghost that haunts them. Not out of revenge, but out of proof that you were always more than they ever had the vision to see. And now? Now you get to decide who you are. So go, build something unstoppable. You're not done. You're just getting started. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. It really motivates me to keep going and create more stories like this for you.